that you may have missed. If you'd like to email me and contact me with any questions regarding curriculum content, it could be regarding HTML, Access, Microsoft Word, Excel, or any of the theory work that we've been doing, you're more than welcome to contact me, aflint@newtonhouse.co.za, and I will try and answer any of the questions that you may have. And I will share my email address right at the end of the lesson. Okay, what we are going to do today is we are going to continue with our lesson on HTML. What I am going to do is I'm going to give you an overview of what we have been looking at over the last week. We looked at HTML on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're going to continue until tomorrow with HTML, just kind of giving you a good foundation on HTML, how to create your own website using an HTML file. So I'll give you a rundown of the lessons that we have been looking at this week, and then what we are going to focus on today as well. So what we had a look at on Monday is we had a look at the basics of HTML, and we had a look at the acronym for HTML. So HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language, and what this is a markup language that is used for creating web pages. And that's essentially what we've been doing. We've been looking at the theory behind what HTML is, and then we've been describing certain characteristics and structures of HTML, and then looking at it practically as well on how to create our own website. So HTML is a markup language used for creating web pages. It is used to create electronic documents called pages that are displayed on the World Wide Web or the internet. Now, I've said to the students before that the websites or the web pages that we create do not go live. You can't just access them on the internet, and nobody on the internet is just going to be able to see what we create. We first have to take the file that we create, and we have to send it to an e-host, which we would usually pay to do. And what this e-host will do is it will host our website, and we pay them a monthly subscription, and they would give us a domain name, and then other people will be able to access the content that we've created. So HTML consists of a series of short codes that are typed into a text file by the site author. We are the site author over here. And what we are doing is we are creating short lines of codes. And what we've been doing is we've been looking at how to structure these short lines of codes in a way that will benefit us going forward. The short codes that we've been looking at are called tags, and we've had a look at a number of different tags that we can use in order to create various aspects of our websites. Once we have created these tags, we've put them in our HTML file. The text is then saved as an HTML file, and we can store it anywhere on our computer. We can store it on the desktop in our documents. Generally, what we want to do is we want to create a file and place that file within a folder and label that folder accordingly based on what our website content will be. Once we have created that file, we are able to open the file in any browser like Internet Explorer or Google Chrome. This is a basic example over here of what an HTML file looks like. We've got our Notepad program that we've been that you can see over here. And in the previous lessons, we also looked at the types of programs that we can use to create an HTML file. Now you'll notice over here that this is Notepad, and the program that we use is Notepad++. It's very similar in what it does. However, Notepad++ just provides us with some extra features that benefit us when making an HTML file. The structure of an HTML file looks like this. We have our HTML opening tag as well as our HTML closing tag. Our closing tag is represented by that / over there. And we always use that / when we are closing our specific tags. We then get our head tag as well as our closing head tag. And then our title tag, opening as well as closing, goes inside your head tag. And after that, we get the body tag, our opening body tag, as well as our closing body tag. And all these tags are found within an HTML file. And these create the website for us. This is a good structure to start with when creating our websites. All our text, all our paragraphs, all our images, all our videos, anything that we want to put on the website will go inside the body tag over here. What we then had a look at is we had a look at the structural tags, and we differentiated the structural tags from the formatting tags. Now, just like in Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, and even Access, we are able to format specific text using features like bold, italics, and underlined, and also changing the font color and font type. This is obviously known as formatting. However, in HTML, we have to create those tags for the program. So we aren't able to simply click a button or simply click a button. We actually have to create the tags that change the way that our font looks. We then also get the comment tag, and that is essentially just us creating notes for ourselves within the HTML file, and we are then able to make notes about what we are creating, and these comments are not actually found in the website when we open it. The basics of HTML, Notepad++ is the program that we use, and you'll notice that this is the program that we have been using the last few lessons. It is a free download, and it doesn't take up much space on your computer, so I would recommend downloading it. You got a little chameleon there on a pencil, and that's a very useful program to use when creating your website. Okay, so that was just a recap of the week's work, just to kind of give you a refresher on what we have been covering so that you don't really get lost and you kind of refresh yourselves on what we have been doing. At the end of this lesson, what we would like you to know is what an attribute is. Yesterday, we touched on attributes within a website, but this time we are going to look specifically at an attribute, and we're going to look at a couple of different examples as well. What we will do is we will look at how to apply an attribute to an HTML tag, and we'll look at various examples. We'll explain them first, and we'll look at what they look like, and then we'll open up Notepad++, and we'll start applying these tags to an actual website. So an HTML attributes, it's a very, very important concept, this one, and one that students struggle with quite a lot. So if you can understand this concept, it will really, really benefit you going forward. And yeah, you'll be able to answer the questions well when it comes to exam time or tests that you're going to be asked to do. So what I explained it and how I explained it yesterday was kind of a situation where you have a really, really large suitcase with lots of space in it, and you have a smaller suitcase, and you pack that smaller suitcase inside the large suitcase. But before that, you've got an even smaller suitcase, and you pack that suitcase inside that smaller one. So you basically got a suitcase within a suitcase within a suitcase, if you can understand that concept. And the reason why I'm explaining the suitcase concept is because this is what an attribute is. Our HTML file is that main bag that we have. And inside that main bag, we have tags that make up our website. And inside that bag, we have tags. So we have an HTML file. Inside the HTML file, we have tags. And inside the tags, we have attributes. So I hope that you kind of get that, that bag sort of similarity and the way that I've kind of described that. Like I said, attributes are placed within a tag, and it is always the opening tag that we place the attributes in. So just as a note there, very important, when we are creating attributes inside an HTML file, we place them inside the opening tag and not the closing tag. Okay, attributes are always written in the following formats. So what you will have is you will first have the name of the attributes, which comes over here. And then right next to the name of the attributes, you'll have an equal sign. And after that, you will have open quotation marks, the value of the attributes, as well as a closing quotation mark. And this entire attribute that you can see over here will be found inside the tag, will be found inside a tag. And an example of what an attribute looks like is this one over here. You'll notice that this should be actually lowercase. All our attributes are lowercase. BG color equals open quotation marks blue, close quotation marks. And this represents the background color of our website. Very, very important to understand these attributes. And like I said, we get different kind of attributes and they are placed in different parts of our website as well. Okay, so getting into a couple of the attributes, just a reminder about Notepad++ and how Notepad++ highlights specific colors for us. So it color codes the tags that we are putting in. It does a similar thing with the attributes as well, and we'll show you exactly how that works once we open up Notepad++. So this attribute over here, it's the name of the attributes equal to the value. And an example of this would be BG color equals blue. And the full example of what it would look like would be the attributes being placed within the tag. Now, if you remember some of our structural tags that we had a look at, body was one of the structural tags that we used to create our HTML file. Now, body without the attributes would just look like the left arrow and then body and then the right pointed arrow there. And inside the tag, we then have what's known as the attributes. So we've got BG color equal to blue found within the body tag. So this part over here that I'm looking at is the attributes, and this part over here is the tag. Now, what you can do as well is you can place more than one attribute into a single tag. Very important, though, that we keep that structure. If we don't keep the structure and we don't put the attributes as well as their values in the right place, then our entire tag may or may not work. So very important that we do, or when we do put more than one attribute into a tag, that we remember our structure over here. Okay, so some of the examples to look at when looking at your HTML attributes, we get an attribute known as align, and as you can imagine, that deals with alignment. It aligns text in paragraphs, or we can align headings as well. We also get width, and the width can be used when creating a horizontal line or when inserting an image. And we haven't really got to images yet. We'll have a look at images tomorrow. And then another attribute is color. And color, we can change the color of the background. Actually, that would be BG color. We can change the color of a specific object inside a web page. And then BG color changes the background color of our websites. what we're going to do is we're going to look at these attributes a little bit more in detail, and then we'll apply them in an actual website. Examples of the HTML attributes, the first one is align. Now, align is when we align text or paragraphs in a heading. And what it does is it aligns specific objects on the web page. An example of what a align attribute looks like is this one over here. You'll notice that you have H1, H1 being our tag and our attribute found within. Sorry, our attribute found within the tag. This is the name of our attribute, and our attribute is equal to the value of center. And essentially what this is going to do is it's going to align our heading 1 to the center. So our heading 1 will be aligned to the center. This over here, you'll notice an align attribute, and this align attribute value is left. Now, what this attribute over here will do is it will take the paragraph, because this is a paragraph tag, and it will align the paragraph tag to the left. So when we first look at these words or these sentences, kind of looks a little bit confusing. But as soon as we start kind of separating them and identifying exactly what they are, it becomes a lot easier to kind of read and understand what these tags and attributes are doing. HR stands for horizontal line, and this horizontal line is being aligned by the attribute to the right. Okay. Another attribute that we're going to look at is width. And width, we're basically using width to create a horizontal line, and it specifies the width of an object. Now, the example that I've used over here is width of a horizontal line, and the width over here is the attribute, and the value of that object is, the value of the attribute is 500. Okay, another attribute that we have over here is color. Now, the color will specify the color of an object. Now, it's important to note over here that we got a few different attributes that deal with color. The first one that we had a look at was background color. Now, background color changes the entire background of the website. Color as an attribute only looks at a specific object, and text will look at changing the value, the color of text. So this over here doesn't necessarily work with the color of text. It only works with specific objects, like possibly tables or horizontal lines to be placed within a website. So over here, the example is an attribute. It specifies the color of an object. And an example over here is when we take a horizontal line, we add the attribute color, and we change that horizontal line to red. Okay, the next one is your background color. The background color changes the background color of the actual website, and it sets the background color of a web page. An example over here would be your body. Your background color equal to blue. And the one that I was just mentioning over here, text, changes the color of the text within a website. So the actual writing will be changed to a specific color. So you've got your tag over here called body, the attribute called text, and the value of the attribute is blue. And you are now creating text that is blue within a website. Okay. The last attribute that we are looking at is your size attribute. and that sets the size of an object. For example, your horizontal line, and the attribute being size, and the value of that attribute being 5. You'll notice that there are a couple of tags, and we had a look at them in the previous lessons. A couple of the tags that don't have an opening and closing tag, they are simply a tag on their own. Most structural tags have an opening as well as a closing tag. However, the HR, horizontal line, and your line break, the BR, are some of your only tags that don't have that opening and closing tag. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to open up the websites that we created. And so we created one on Monday, we created one on Tuesday, and we created one yesterday as well. And we're going to continue with that trend, creating our own websites. And like I've been saying, it's just becoming a little bit more complicated every single time. But like I said, we've tried to work as slowly and systematically as possible through this section of work, so that you kind of build on each time. So the first website we created was very, very simple. We simply created our opening HTML tag as well as our closing HTML tag. And we placed our head tags in there as well as our title tags. We created a body and a simple heading. And that was all we created over there. And you'll notice just kind of how the tags light up. And they sort of coordinated as well. So HTML lines up with HTML. And if I take out HTML at the top here, you'll notice that they no longer highlight, which means that I've made an error somewhere, and I can fix that error before I save my websites. So my HTML lines up with my HTML, head with my head, title and title, body and body, and then censor as well as H1 over there. Once something has been changed inside the website, it changes to red, which means I can go ahead and save it over there, and then it will turn blue. If you haven't actually saved the web page, then your changes won't actually be applied to your websites. What we did on Tuesday then is we created a couple more things within our websites. We still kept with that same structure of the website. We then just added a few headings, couple of paragraphs, as you can see over here. We changed some of the formatting of the websites. We added a comments, and that was what we created yesterday. Oh, sorry, on Tuesday. And then what we did yesterday is we had a look and we changed a couple of different things up. We added an attributes, but we did a couple of extra things as well, like placing in comments, and as well as our formatting and our paragraphs there. Okay. What we are going to try to do now is we are going to create our fourth website for the week. And we are going to start by clicking on this little plus button over here, the green plus button. And what that does is it creates a new HTML blank file for us. Okay, and so what we're going to do is we're going to start with our main tags over here, HTML, opening tag, and our HTML closing tag. You'll notice that the tags are not color coordinated, and the reason for that is because I have not saved the file yet. So once I click on save, it will ask me for a file name as well as a file location, and we always get that when we're saving a document for the first time. I'm just going to save it to my desktop, and I will give it the name. What's the date today? The 4th June, Africa Teen Geeks. And I'm going to save it as a .html file, because that is what I'm currently working with. And I'll save it as all types. So I've chosen a location, and I have also chosen a name for the file. Okay, so I will save it. And immediately you'll notice that my tags now appear color coordinated. I like to leave out spaces over here between my tags, just so that I can clearly see where my tags are, and so that it's not really confusing as well. I'll format it like this: opening head tag, closing head tag. And within my head tag, I get known as my opening title tag. And I'm going to call the website over here attributes. We are dealing with attributes today. And I'll place a closing title tag within that as well. So I've got a nice structure to my website so far. I have created my HTML opening and closing tag, my head opening and closing tag, my title opening and closing tag. A reminder that our title over here will display the name. Just going to put a comment in over here. The name of my page. And this is how I create my comments over here. This would sort of be my opening comment tag and my closing comment tag over there. And again, my tab is red, which means I haven't saved it. So I'll save it and everything's ready. Just another comment over there, just so that I can see what I'm doing. My opening tag. Make that opening HTML tag. And this one over here, you don't actually have to put these comments in. However, they just kind of help for you to see kind of what's going on within the website. Closing HTML tag. Okay, I'm then going to create my body of my website. Body is where the main part of your website goes, or all the contents of your websites. I'll have a opening tag as well as a closing tag, and all my text, all my paragraphs, my headings will go inside here. Okay. And again, what I'd like to do is I'd like to create a heading. So just to save this website, I'm just going to save it over here. I'm going to go to my desktop. And this is the website that I just created over here, 4th of June ATG. And if I open up that website, you will notice that the only thing that appears there would be my the heading of my website. Attributes. Okay, I don't have anything in my website. Nothing appears yet. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my first heading, H1, H1 being the biggest heading that I can create. The lower down you go, like to H2, to H3, H4, H5, the smaller the heading will actually get. I have an opening tag as well as a closing tag. And once I save this over here, I've now saved my website, and I can go back over here and I can just refresh my page over here and my heading will appear. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to create my first attribute that we've been looking at today. And again, just a reminder about that bag within a bag within a bag situation. The current situation that we have is we have an HTML file. This entire document over here that we are working with is our HTML file. That is our main bag. And inside that bag, we have another bag, and the bag is our tags. And then within the tags, we are going to find our attributes. So our attributes are actually going to be placed within these two little headings over here. Oh, sorry, two little arrows over here. So let's just go to my website, and you'll notice, okay, my website is white, and it's not really that colorful yet. I would like to make it a little bit more colorful, so I'm going to add an attribute to change that. The attribute that I'm going to use is BG color, because BG color, being my attributes, changes the background color. Equal to, let's go with blue. I wonder if there's light blue. Let's just have a look. No, let's go with blue. And I'm going to highlight that, or put it in quotation marks. And you'll notice now that my tag still kind of matches up with the other one over here. Previously, it didn't match up over here, because I hadn't finished putting my attributes in. If you don't put in your attribute correctly, everything else in the website is kind of messed up. So it's very important that you do correctly place your attributes in. You'll notice that my attributes is kind of highlighted in a bit of a yellow color, the attributes in red, and the value is blue. And then my body tag, opening body tag, still matches up with my closing body tag. Let's save it over here. And then I'm going to go back over here. I'm going to refresh my page, and you'll notice that my page now turns to blue. It's a bit of a bright blue, but anyways, that's just kind of showing you how to complete it. Okay. What I'm going to do underneath my heading 1, I just like to create a line that kind of underlines my main heading. So kind of like not navigating, but making my website a little bit more readable. So I'm going to create a horizontal line over here. And I'm going to refresh my page, and a horizontal line has appeared, but you can't really see it there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that color, the color of that horizontal line just now. Okay, first what I want to do to my attributes heading is I'd like to change my attributes heading so that it appears in the center of my screen. So you can see over here it's aligned to the left currently. Oh, sorry, with the horizontal line, I don't think I saved the documents. Let's just save it first. Refresh it. Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so I just needed to save my documents over there before I actually put it in, and then I refreshed it, and then it appeared. Okay, so I've created my H1 heading. I've got the attributes heading. It's aligned to the left. However, I would like it to appear in the center. Now, the attribute that I'm going to use to align is align. Makes sense. I need to put my attribute within the opening tag of where I'd like, or what I'd like to move. So very important over here, like students get confused about this because they kind of think, okay, where am I actually going to put this attribute? The attribute always goes where you'd like, or what you'd like to change. Now, I'm not going to go and put my align tag within my body, because then it would probably change everything. What I'd want to do is I'd like to put my attributes within my heading that I'd like to move. So very important that you know where to place your attributes. And I'm going to align it to the value of center. I'm going to close that. So now my heading 1 will be aligned with an attribute to the center. So I'm going to go ahead and save my documents, save my file, and then refresh it. And you'll notice that my attribute heading moved to the center. Okay, now previously we had a look at attributes, and we kind of had a look at a few of the attributes, and we said, okay, listen, we can put an attribute into a tag. However, what we can also do is we can place a second attribute within a heading. Now, this is also where it gets kind of complicated. What I'm going to do over here is I'm going to change the text color of my attributes heading. So in order to change the text color, I need to use the text attributes, and I'm going to equal that to the value of white. And now you can see over here that I have inside my opening header, my heading 1, I have the first attribute, which is text, and the text must be white. And I have a second attribute known as align, which is then going to align my heading to the center. And again, I'll go ahead and save that, and I'll go back to my website and I'll refresh it. And it should have changed, but it's not changing for some reason. Okay, we'll go back and check on that. I'm not sure why that's not changing. Yeah, I'm actually sorry. I'm not sure why that's changing. But anyways, it should be changing. I'll have to go have a look at that and just kind of see what the issue is over there. Okay. So we have got our horizontal line over here. And what we are going to do with our horizontal line is we are now going to change our horizontal line. A couple of the other attributes that we had within our documents that we had a look at was width. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the width of our attributes of our horizontal line. So our horizontal line would be like that, and we're going to say equal to, and we're going to say equal to, let's say 10. Now with the horizontal line over here, you notice that the horizontal line is just a single tag by itself. It doesn't have an opening tag and a closing tag. It's very important that in those situations you place the you place that forward slash right at the end. Okay, so let me save the documents over there. And I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to refresh it. And you'll notice that my horizontal line's width has changed to significantly smaller. So let's say I'm going to change it to a value of 20. And I'm going to refresh it. Oh, sorry, save it. Go back to my website and then refresh it. And you'll notice that the line gets big over there. Let's make it even bigger. Let's make it 80. And I'll save it and then refresh, and it gets even bigger. Okay, so what you can do over there is you can kind of play around with your horizontal line. You can even put in another horizontal line underneath that, depending on what you want your website to look like. Let's change that width to 60. And then save that, and then we'll go back and we'll refresh the page, and now we've got two horizontal lines. So you, like I said, you can play around with your website as much as you want, and yeah, just hopefully kind of get the idea of what's going on over there. Okay, so we had a look at the background color attributes. We had a look at the text and the line attributes. We had a look at the width, and again the width as well. So that's basically how we place our attributes within a tag. I just want to go back and just see if there's any attributes that we kind of skipped. Oh, okay, size as well. Set the size of an object. Let's go and do that as well. Okay, so we got our width, and let's change our size of our horizontal line. So again, this is placing a attribute, placing two attributes within a tag. We'll set that to 100. So again, you'll see over here in your horizontal line, this is the size, this is the attribute size, and the value is set to 100, and the width over here of the attribute is set to a value of 80. Okay, and that is basically what happens when I change the width, or the size of my horizontal line. You'll notice that it's a lot bigger. I can also change it back to, let's say 50, and then save it, and then kind of changes a bit. Okay, so there's a lot of different things that we can use, and these are just some of the attributes that we had a look at today. I'm just going to go back and check the other ones. Yeah, I just want to check maybe this with what was the issue with this, the text color. It's possibly that it needed to be in the body. Let's go over here. I'm going to take this attribute out, copy it, place it over here, text color equals white, and then save it, and then go back here, and then refresh. Okay. Yeah, so the text color over there would have been in the body tag, and it would have changed the actual attributes heading over there, but it had to be in the body tag. Okay, that was the issue over there. Okay, we had a look at background color. We had a look at text, we had a look at width. Yeah, that was a lot of the attributes that we had a look at. What we are going to do in tomorrow's lesson is we are going to look at inserting an image into an HTML file. We'll do the basic things. We'll run over kind of how to create our own website and how to structure our files again and place various tags and attributes into a website. But then we'll look specifically at how to place an image within a website. Like I said, if you would like to contact me or you have any questions about curriculum content, please contact me, aflint@newtonhouse.co.za, and I will gladly get back to you. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.